Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that your voice is no longer your own. That is what happened to a teenage girl in Croatia in 2013. She opened her eyes and found that her native language had disappeared, replaced by fluent German she had never mastered before. Her family listened in disbelief. They knew she only studied German at school at a basic level, enough for simple phrases. But the speech flowing from her mouth was advanced, natural, and emotionally fluent. It made no sense to anyone. Doctors examined her for signs of stroke or neurological damage. They scanned her brain, tested her memory, questioned her medical history. Every test came back normal. There was no injury, no trauma, no explanation. When she tried to speak Croatian, her tongue resisted. The words felt distant and heavy, like reaching for something behind glass. German, however, came effortlessly. Thoughts formed in it before she even spoke. Reporters began to call it a miracle or a strange psychological event. But for the girl, it was not exciting or special. It was frightening. Her voice carried someone else's history, someone else's rhythm. Her mother cried while trying to talk to her. The girl responded in German, apologizing repeatedly for something she didn't choose and couldn't change. Love remained, but the language of expressing it was lost. Some specialists suggested a rare condition called foreign language syndrome, where the brain reorganizes speech patterns after stress. But the girl had no trauma, no shock, no event that could explain such a shift. Others believed her brain had unlocked dormant memory, pieces of lessons she once learned but never consciously mastered. Knowledge stored in silence found its way to the surface in one night. She herself felt like she was living between two worlds. She recognized her family, her house, her city, but the way she moved through them no longer felt natural. Identity had shifted without warning. Friends didn't know how to speak to her anymore. Conversations became strained. Jokes fell flat. Inside jokes vanished. She felt like a guest in her own life, and no one could guide her back. Therapists tried language recovery training. Croatian returned slowly, but fragmented, as if rebuilding something that cracked invisibly. She wrote words down like a child learning for the first time. Meanwhile, German felt like her true voice. It wasn't forced or memorized. It carried emotion, depth, tone, comfort. She wondered if a part of her had always belonged to a language she never fully knew. Her parents questioned identity. Is it we are tied to the words we use? When language changes, does the person change with it? Their daughter's eyes were the same, but her expression of self was different. Experts debated her case for months. Some said the brain contains abilities we never access unless pushed. Others said emotional states could shift cognition in ways we still don't understand. The girl became a subject of television interviews, news articles, online theories. But she withdrew. She didn't want to be a puzzle. She wanted peace. Her life was already unfamiliar enough. She began reading German books to understand the structure of her new voice. She watched German interviews, films, speeches. The language felt like a mirror to a part of her she never knew existed. Her family tried to bridge the gap. They learned German phrases to speak with her. They had to rebuild communication word by word, gesture by gesture, heart by heart. Some friends drifted away, not from lack of care, but because shared language is shared experience. Without it, people often separate without realizing. But new people entered her life too. German teachers, foreign exchange students, and travelers reached out. They understood her voice without hesitation. She realized identity is not fixed. It is fluid, shaped by memory, experience, and the subconscious mind. She mourned the girl she had been, but she learned to accept the girl she became. Over time, she regained Croatian enough to communicate, but it felt like a learned language rather than a native one. She now carried two voices. Her story became a reminder that the brain is deeper and more mysterious than we assume. It can erase, rebuild, and rewrite without permission. People ask her if she misses her old voice. She says yes, sometimes, but she has learned to live with both truths. Some mysteries exist, not to be solved, but to be understood. And in her voice now, two lives continue to speak at once.